Hey everybody, I'm Scott Wikle. You're listening to My Kind of Country. Great to have this gentleman back on the show with me tonight. Always a pleasure to talk to him. He's got a brand new album out, and he's one of the greats in country music with 10 number one hits, 40 top 10 hits, 5 gold albums. He's got a brand new album we're going to talk about tonight, and we're going to preview a couple of the songs for you. It's a pleasure to welcome the great Moe Bandy to My Kind of Country. Moe, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great.
Well, always a pleasure to talk to you. How are things in Branson?
Everything's going good. I live there. I don't perform there anymore, but I live in Branson in the Ozark Mountains, and I love it there.
Well, that's fantastic. Have you been okay with all the bad weather that's been happening around there?
Yeah, we got through it okay.
Oh, that's good to hear. I see you've got a lot of tour dates coming up down in the great state of Texas, too.
I do, and I'm actually in Texas right now. I just played down here Saturday, and I'm from San Antonio, so I've been visiting with my kids.
Good deal. Well, you've got a brand new album. We've talked about this before. You had mentioned that you've been working on it, and you finally got the album done, and we're looking forward to hearing it. It's called Songs I Missed, and folks, you can pre-order your copy at moebandy.com, and we're going to be previewing some songs from the album for you tonight, and we get to premiere one of the songs on our Facebook page on May 2nd, too, so you're going to enjoy that. Tell me a little bit about the whole concept and how this all came together for you, Moe.
Well, I wanted to. Jimmy Capps produced this. It's one of the last songs last albums that Jimmy produced, and we went back and got just a lot of my old favorite songs over the past years, and also some songs that I turned down. I could have recorded, and we just had a ball, and it was it was the last album that Jimmy produced. We passed away, and so it's very special to me because of that. And I really enjoyed singing those old songs.
Well, that's great. I know when we've seen you up here in concert here in Michigan, you usually do a medley of some of these songs too, and tell the story about it.
Yeah, I finally recorded them. Finally.
You didn't miss them anymore.
Yeah, I passed on them, but I finally got them recorded.
Well, that's great. Well, you released your first single from this project was a great Ronnie Millsap song, Pure Love. Tell me about that one.
I love that song. I've always loved it. It's a good, peppy song and positive, and I really enjoyed singing that one.
Now, is that one that you missed, or is that one you just decided you wanted to record?
That's one I just decided I wanted to record there.
Okay.
And, of course, you never can sing it like the great Ronnie Millsap, but I guess you'd say it was my version of it. But he was so great.
Well, you did a fantastic job on it, and I was really happy. Actually, it's one of my favorite Merle Haggard songs. He co-wrote this with Red Simpson. It's "You Don't Have Very Far to Go." Man, you did a great job on this song. I love it.
That's been one of my favorite songs for years, and I often said if I ever cut a best of album, I wanted that one on there, and that's just one of my favorites.
Wow, that's great. You know, Merle told me one time he always really wished this song would have hit big. He recorded it 3 different times on albums, and he really wanted it to hit. It just never seemed to really hit big for him, but I've always loved the song, and I know the fans do too.
I didn't know he recorded it 3 times. That's great. That means it's a great song.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, we're going to play that for our listeners tonight. That's one of the new songs that's been released so far. And the album comes out on May 2nd, and you'll be able to pick up your copy at moebandy.com. And, of course, anywhere we stream music, Amazon, iTunes, Spotify, all those great places. Moe, tell me about some other songs on this project, some of the ones that you missed that you wish you would have gotten to have the first crack at.
I passed on Does Fort Worth Ever Cross Your Mind? That was pitched to me by Whitey Schaefer years ago. And also, All My Exes Live in Texas. Whitey Schaefer was one of my best friends and wrote a bunch of my songs. And All My Exes in Texas, he sang it out at the parties and thing, and it was almost like a joke song. And George Strait come along and nailed it. Really did good, and so I passed on that one. But yeah, I had Whitey Schaefer writing for me for years, and and like that, does Fort Worth Ever Cross Your Mind? It sit there for 10 years. I actually cut it on an album, and it was 10 years later George cut it.
So you actually recorded it, but it never got released as a single then?
Right, it was
Okay.
on one of my old albums, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Whitey Schaefer is such a great writer. He and Lefty did some great songs together. You know, of course, That's the Way Love Goes, and man, just
yeah, they actually wrote Bandy the Rodeo Clown, Whitey Schaefer and the great Lefty Frizzell. Yeah.
that's great. That's one you didn't miss.
Yeah, that's one I didn't pass on.
Well, that's great. I kind of gathered that maybe because you're from Texas, that maybe they kind of thought the Texas songs might fit your style.
Yes, I guess so. And they called me one night in the middle of the night on Bandy the Rodeo Clown, and Lefty said, I said, who is this? Said, this Lefty. And I said, Lefty who? He's Lefty Frizzell. I like to fill off the phone. My hero.
That's pretty cool. If they wrote it. I mean, obviously they wrote that song specifically for you.
Yes, they did. And it was my brother was bull rider. He was having a real good year that year. My brother Mike, and as a matter of fact, he's going into the bull riding Hall of Fame this year.
Is that right?
And yeah, I mean his name was Mike, and he was really hot back then riding bulls. And so I said, I need a rodeo song, and that's the one they got for me.
Oh wow, that's fantastic. Well, that's great. Well, you've got Does Fort Worth Ever Cross Your Mind? There's another one that was a big George Strait song, and Amarillo by Morning.
yeah. I was playing golf with George years ago, and he said, I just cut a song. He's telling me about a new called Does Fort Worth Ever Cross Your Mind? And I said, well, George, I cut that 10 years ago. And but we put it on an album, and it didn't put out as a single.
He must have been going back and listening to your old albums or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, Whitey Schaefer was pitching those songs, of course, and yeah, that was interesting that a song, and that happens a lot. A writer will write one, and it might sit there for 10 years, and someone comes along, cuts a hit on it.
Absolutely. Mo, one of the songs that I know everybody's going to look forward to hearing, I've been lucky enough to hear it before it comes out, but it's my favorite song of all time that George Jones did. He Stopped Loving Her Today. I'm curious to hear if that was another one that you passed on.
Well, I was in a hotel in Nashville, and one night, in the middle of the night, I got a knock on the door, and it was George Jones. Had his guitar with him, and he said, man, you got to hear this song. It's a great one. So he sat down, and he sang He Stopped Loving Her Today. He said, I think you could cut it and have a big hit. And, boy, I said, George, that is the greatest song in the world. And so he cut it, and I'm so thankful he did, because I couldn't have done that much justice to it. But anyway, I recorded on the new album, sang it on the Grand Ole Opry here about a month ago, and Nancy Jones had heard the song, and she called me and said she really liked my version, and she come out to the Opry, and when I sang it on stage, and so that was a big thing for me.
Oh wow, that's really something else. She's such a nice lady. I had her on the show just a couple weeks ago, and
yes,
man, I love talking to her.
And yeah, that worked out really good, and I just always loved that song. But the song's 45 years old.
Yeah.
And so it was over 45 years when George sat down and sang it to me, and he was singing it to a lot of people back then.
No kidding.
And I was just honored to cut it again, record it.
Well, that's interesting, because I know he had some reservations about doing the song. He kind of thought it was a morbid song, and so that's kind of interesting.
He did. He said it was too morbid, and maybe, I don't know why he picked me out to cut it, but maybe I'm singing morbid songs. But yeah, he did. And it took him a long time. He'd come in and cut a few lines and go out, come back, and they pieced it all together. Of course, my God, it was great.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you got a dozen songs on this album, some great classics, Heartaches by the Number and Keys in the Mailbox and Truck Driving Man. I just love every song on here, and you've done them justice. I can't wait to play all of them for everybody. We get to play a few of them tonight anyways, but tell me some other favorites that you chose for this album.
Well, I like Heartaches by the Number was one of my old favorites from years ago, and being from Texas, we cut several of the Keys in the Mailbox, which is the 4/4 shuffle songs that they like in Texas, and so that was fun cutting those.
Well, absolutely. 6 Days on the Road. It's another one you got on here, the old Dave Dudley song.
Right. I toured with Dave Dudley years ago.
Oh, did you?
And I loved that song. I love Dave. He was a great guy. And so I've been doing that song on stage a long time, and I wanted to throw it in there for sure.
That's great. And of course, you've got a Hank Williams song on here.
Yeah, I do, and I used to do that all the time. Every time I cut an album, I'd throw a Hank Williams song. This is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I can't help it if I'm still in love with you. And you of course, did one of my favorite songs of yours, Hank Williams, You Wrote My Life.
That was a big song for me, and I was always a big fan of. He's the one that inspired me a bunch.
Yeah, for sure. And then your album Lucky Me, you had I've Done Everything Hank Williams Did But Die, and I love that song too.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite songs.
And Heart Over Mind, there's another great, I remember Ray Price doing it, and Mel Tillis. I think Mel wrote the song, didn't he?
And that's always been a favorite of mine, and boy, you can't go to a jukebox or anything in Texas without hearing that one.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, MoeBandy.com is the website, folks. You can pick up songs I missed. You can go and pre-order your copy right now, and it'll be available everywhere on May 2nd, and you can stream it, of course, on all the great places that we stream music. And Mo, I've got kind of an interesting question for you, on the kind of following the theme of this album. Are there some songs that you recorded that were big hits for you that you kind of had to get in there and steal away from somebody else that was thinking about recording them?
No, I pretty much all the songs that I've recorded, somebody wrote for me, and I never got one that anybody had. But I had a song called "I Cheated Me Right Out of You" that I didn't think it was going to do that much. I really didn't, and we put it out as a single. And it kept going and going and went number one. So you just never know about those deals either.
Well, that's interesting. Have you ever done any songwriting yourself?
I've done some. I've written several B-sides of my records, and wrote some songs with Whitey Schaefer and several people. But generally, I had just these great writers writing for me, and I'd write a song and turn it down myself. So.
Well, on this album, are there some songs that you didn't include on this album that you would have liked to have recorded?
Well, there's a whole bunch of them. And eventually I probably will cut another album like this. But there's a whole bunch of songs out there that when I was choosing songs, there's just so many available. It was unbelievable. I probably would have cut more of the George Jones Window Up Above and several of those songs, and I would probably have cut those.
That'd be a good choice. You could do a George Jones tribute album, maybe.
Oh, yes, I could. I did a Hank Williams tribute album, but I could do a George Jones for sure.
I think that'd be great because, boy, you can cover it real well. I tell you, there's not a lot of people that can sing George Jones and do him justice, but you can.
Well, I might do that one of these days for sure.
All right. That would be great.
Yeah.
So you got, as I mentioned earlier, you've got a lot of tour dates coming up, a lot of dates in Texas, and obviously you've got this new album. So what else is coming up for you this summer?
Well, I'm just traveling a lot, doing a lot of shows, and like I said, my brother is going in the Hall of Fame, and I'm going to the ceremony, and looking forward to that. That'll be a fun there.
Well, absolutely. Well, Mo, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show, and I hope folks will visit moebandy.com. And there's also an app I wanted to mention, too. There's a phone app that you can get for Moe Bandy that you can download right to your phone. It keeps you up to date with all Moe's music and news and everything. That's right on the website there, so check that out. And
yes.
Songs I Missed is the new album.
Always good talking with you. Always good.
Well, Mo, we sure appreciate it. Hope we get you back up to Michigan one of these days. We'd love to see you again.
Well, I hope so. We'll have to work on that for sure.
Absolutely. Well, in the meantime, we are looking forward to this brand new album. We're going to play a couple of the cuts for you tonight. And May 2nd, Songs I Missed is available from Moe Bandy at moebandy.com. Hey, Mo, thanks so much for taking time to be on the show. I sure appreciate it, my friend.
Thank you. My pleasure. Always good talking with you.
Likewise. Here's some great Moe Bandy from the new album, Songs I Missed, as we continue with My Kind of Country. Mo, thanks again.
Thank you a lot, man. Appreciate it.